everyone. We're almost through December. Where did it go? I don't know. There's Christmas trees everywhere though, so that's exciting. Maybe in DDO we'll get flying carpets as a surprise Christmas gift. Wouldn't that be nice if we just all woke up on Christmas Day and got a flying carpet in our backpack? Um, so, continuing with the video series, I am back to do more questing and to continue on my character platinum. It has been announced by SSG that the hardcore season 3 server will be wiped after New Year's. I think it's January 3rd, 2021 that they are wiping this server. So what that means for me is, for this project, I probably am going to be wrapping it up relatively soon. I don't have enough time to do all 5,000 favor. Even though up to this point I'm still level 10. But up to this point I've done just about, I'll show you, just about everything. I have a couple of quests that are level 6 that I have not done yet. But, you know, this is basically what you'd want to do if you were going to 5,000 favor. Only if you're going to 1750, if you're going to go to level 20, if you decided you're going to do Reaper, whatever, 10 or 20, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can just do whatever quests you like. Especially if you're only going for the Reaper rewards, you don't need to worry about questing in specific quests at all. You can just get whatever XP you can get, fill your destinies, and then you're good to go. We've gone over that. I'll let you guys mine the old videos that I made to get the details for that information. Today we're going to talk about what skills are essential for the Hardcore League, potential future changes that they might make, and we'll do a couple of quests. I still have a couple of quests here in the 12 that I would like to make videos for. We may die in these because, like I said, these 12 quests are very, very challenging. We'll go over the gear that I have. I have done a couple of things. You'll notice that I am on my reward mount, and that's because I need to get Mary off the Hardcore League server, who is the GM of Death Smile. So what I did is just put everything on Mary into the bank, including her horse, and I have ranked Platinum, so she will be the successor, because Platinum is not going to leave the server. She's new. I just made her for this project. But Mary will be transferred off server to another server, and I will probably do that after New Year's, considering I like to keep Mary as the GM for when people log in. They can see that I'm, still logging on. You can see that I logged on yesterday. And any questions, they send me emails, or, if anybody needs anything. Some people, still like to play on this server casually, so I get requests to join the guild still. But, that's not anything like it was when the event was live. Yeah, it's a lot of work, the live event, especially for the first week. It's a lot of constant, because the guilds only have 1,000 spots, so it's a lot of, I think at the height last season it was very, very busy. I believe that we had in that first week around 950, maybe 960 unique accounts in the guild. So, I mean, we're at capacity. Nobody had any alts. I didn't have an alt for at least a month in the guild, uh, um, which makes it very challenging because it's a permadeath event. So I have 1,000 characters in the guild, but some of them are dying and they leave the guild, and then I got to get them re-guilded. But there's so many people who want in. Holding spots for people can be really tricky. So I encourage everyone who joins to join Discord so they can message me directly, and also use the in-game mail system to let me know. But usually for those at least the first couple weeks, maybe month, I'm on pretty much throughout the day. I do my work from home, so I'm able to run the computer 24/7 if I have to. Stay logged into DDO to take care of all that stuff in the first week, which is why people have accused me of being an AI. Sort of where I came up with a name for this channel. They don't think that I'm human. But, it's been a pleasure to serve, really, to help everybody enjoy that event to the best of my ability. I know that it's important to, be able to have access to those early guild buffs, because even at low level, some of the guild buffs are good. And then the other thing, too, is with 900 plus unique people, it's a social thing. You can get a lot of help. You can find people who know the quests that you don't know. You can show people the quests that you know really well. So, it's a good thing. There are a lot of solo players who do the hardcore event and run it solo the whole time. Other players sign up with a buddy or two buddies, and then they do the event with just those buddies the whole time. But there are a lot of people who play like the old school, where they will make a character and log in and look for groups and pug with as many people as they can. And I'm one of those. I have a group of friends that I play with. I have some other guys that I like to hang out with. And then I also like to pug. So, and then I do solo at some of the quests, if I just want to get them out of the way. So I renewed my ship buffs, and we'll just quickly go over my gear. You can see in my buffs, I have the Seasons of the Feywild now on my bar. That's because I'm wearing 2 pieces of the Feywild gear, and you can see the Seasons of the Feywild doesn't require you to have any specific slot. You just have to have Feywild gear. I actually looted another piece of gear. I think it's a set of boots, but the boots don't give me feather falling, and they have a blue slot, and so feather falling is a topaz. I could get a topaz of feather falling and slot it, but I cannot slot that into a blue slot. So the boots that I looted from the Feywild are kind of useless. Somebody will find a use for them. They're 15 with a 4 dodge on them, so they're good boots for level 5. It's just, if I could have requested a color slot, I would have requested green. Something that's useful for low level, because you don't know what you're going to need. The reality is blue slots are probably the least exciting. They're useful, but there aren't a lot of sapphires at low level, because slotting a fortification is a sapphire, but to get heavy fort, which is 100%, you have to be level 8. Well, these boots are level 5, so I'm not going to slot that, even though I'm level 10. And the reality is now I'm so close to 100 fortification that the extra 2% wouldn't even matter. And then I would have to figure out where to get feather falling again. I thought maybe I could put feather falling on this Cloak of Autumn, which is a fantastic cloak, but this cloak also has a blue slot. Again, like, why SSG? What's up with these almost useless low-level blue slots? Green or yellow are very useful for low level, because there's a lot of low-level topazes that are helpful. Feather falling, water breathing, energy resistance, you know, so those sorts of things I'd want to slot at level 5. When you get up higher level, especially in epics, blue slots become very helpful, but at this low level, not so much. But this cloak is too good to not wear, and this helm is too good to not wear, and then the bonus is too good to not have, the artifact bonus to maximum hit points. So I'm doing the best that I can, and that means that I don't get the 3-piece. I keep these boots. The 3-piece would just give me more spell points. As a Warlock, I really don't ever run out of spell points because most of my damage comes from bursting or blasting. So the only spells I'm casting really are Evard's Black Tentacles, Expeditious Retreat, Jump, Rage, my Resist Energies, and, you know, a few other spells situationally here and there. So yeah, I believe the gear then would be the same since the last video that you've seen. This is the Barovia Scepter of Potency that gives me my spell power. All the rest of the gear is still, you've seen it all. Nothing really has changed, and it's all terrible gear for level 10. You know, the only good gear that I have really is the Feywild stuff, and I ran every quest in the Feywild. I'm done out there, and I only ended up pulling 3 pieces of gear out of all those quests. So it's a pretty low craptacular drop rate. My armor class is 25, that's awful. My spell resistance is 15, that's low. I mean, it's acceptable. My PRR is 8, my MRR is 4. I mean, these numbers are horrible. Horrible. But this is hardcore, so we're doing the best we can. Just to let you guys know, too, that as I've been going through these videos, I have uncovered some devices and effects that are not working properly. So one of the shields up video, we went over proof against poison, proof against disease, protection from evil. I have protection from evil now slotted on a wand that I throw, and I use protection from poison. I have a gem slotted into this yellow augment slot of my goggles. I did have a proof, there's my proof against disease right there, but they're all broken. None of them are providing the immunities that they should. So I have submitted tickets and posted about it on the DDO forums. You guys can go read my thread about it if you want. But I brought it to SSG's attention that it's not providing the immunity. It provides the bonus. So my proof against poison topaz is +2. Well, I get the extra +2 versus poison, but I'm not getting the immunity to natural poison. And proof against poison makes you completely immune to natural poisons. Proof against disease makes you completely immune to natural diseases. You should see an immune message pop up over your head. Protection from evil makes you immune to charms and compulsions, dominations from evil creatures. So you cannot be commanded, you cannot be charmed, you cannot be dominated. And yet, if you watch the video that I did of the library quest out here, this one, the distracting fantasies were able to charm me and dominate me. So that, and I had protection from evil on, so that is not functioning. So I have submitted a ticket about that. Whether or not SSG fixes it before the next hardcore league is anybody's guess. I hope so. My argument to them was that these are very important immunities for low-level players, especially on the hardcore league, where every hit point, every defensive, bubble that you can put around yourself matters, especially if we are in a hardcore league where there are no extra lives. Then those sorts of immunities are critical because they will keep you alive. I mean, getting charmed by a distracting fantasy can kill you. Getting poisoned and taking constitution damage could kill you. Getting diseased by a natural disease and taking constitution poison could kill you. Or, if you took strength damage and then all of a sudden you became helpless, and then you're just you have no defenses at that point. You're considered prone, or however. I don't know exactly what DDO does when you are at 0 ability, but I believe you take double damage at least. I think you're considered helpless means that you take double damage. Would be something to wiki to find out exactly what happens to you, but likely it would get you killed, especially if you're low level and have under 100 hit points. So they need to fix that stuff. Not only that, but just on a from a Dungeons and Dragons perspective, if your dungeon master gives you a magic item, it's supposed to function. The equivalent would be that your shield spell does not make you immune to magic missiles, which, I mean, that would be a huge, huge game-breaking thing. People rely on magic missile immunity, and there are other people who rely on poison immunity, disease immunity, and protection from evil, so it just needs to be fixed. If everybody logged in and all of a sudden Vorpal was not Vorpaling, but was just giving the extra hit bonus and damage bonus, but it didn't have a chance to Vorpal, people would complain, and they likely would fix that soon. I think that one of the reasons that proof against poison, proof against disease, and protection from evil have sort of fallen under the radar is because it's a very confusing system. In the early DDO, when DDO was first launched, it was not broken up into 3 different types of poison, 3 different types of disease. The effect, if you equipped a proof against poison or a proof against disease item, you were 100% immune to all forms. You essentially got like paladin immunity. So you put a proof against disease ring on, you're immune to all the different types, same as a paladin. And so what that used to do was allow people to make pretty superhero like characters because they were just immune to everything. You throw into that the early game's invisibility, where monsters could not detect you at all, and DDO became a pretty easy game. So they changed, obviously, to make it more challenging. I wasn't a fan of the change. I would have favored them making those items less available. Right now they're very common drops, but making them rare but still give you immunity as it reads, because that's a SSG video game thing, breaking it into natural, supernatural, and magical poisons. I mean, that's SSG making a video game. It's their prerogative. It's their homebrew. They can do whatever they want, but I disagree with it. But that aside, if that's the rules that they're setting up, well, then let's enforce the rules. Let's make the items work the way they're supposed to work. So that's the gear that I have on. You guys may have remembered I won this robe in a gold roll. It's not something that I bought or even like. I'm probably going to transfer it off and then just crunch it into whatever those crystals are, the cosmetic dust or whatever it is. I do have another gold roll right now that I will do since you guys are here, and as December ends, my season pass is ending, so I will no longer get the free gold rolls. But you can see it's not like they're super helpful. A lot of them are not very helpful. You can get platinum though. So I got a really crappy silver roll, and it was an okay gold roll. but why not? It, you know, it's stuff that helps. So we're going to do this, another man's treasure. Now this quest is very difficult for, there is a swim that we have to do. And we may die. Likely I need to make sure okay, there's my buddy. And I'm just going to clear out this front area. And you can see my damage is not that high. You know, it's not like I'm melting those kobolds instantly. Warlock definitely got nerfed. They used to be so much more powerful. But we're just going to pick up the crests and clear out this front area. That ice effect is from the crown of frost that I'm wearing. We're going to continue clearing. Just going to get rid of all of these. Okay, so I have an item slotted from one of the Feywild quests that I don't need there. So I am going to reslot this proof against poison. Get rid of that curse. Cover myself with my immunities. Heal. And am I ready to start? Believe everything is cleared out. Yes. So what we need to do, each of the sockets. We got all of the crests. We do the 3, and then that opens that blue gate down there. I just want to make sure that I clear out all of this stuff first. Likely I will pin the Feywild Muse guy. It was really nice of them to give us a healer. Alright, talk to this guy. It's a single target fight, so I'm switching to single target. Gonna fight him from here. I don't want to stand on any of those traps because they blow up. Those, you know, the little mines. You don't want to stand on those. It's acid, but I think also it might be poison. So that was that, and now we have, I'm pretty sure the next part is the swim, and the swim is just awful. Here. I'm gonna pin this guy. I have my resists. I'm gonna rage myself. Give myself fake hit points. Put my underwater action ring on. Cross my fingers. Alright, so now you gotta stay away from the spikes. And the spikes have, you know, pretty decent hit zone. So you don't want to get, yeah, see, if that happens, you have to stop and drink your potion because you can't cast a wand underwater. And if that's not scary enough, when we get up ahead, there's a current. So it's very likely that we're going to die in here. So who would normally do this swim is somebody with evasion. Or somebody who has blood tribute. Somebody who can handle the massive amounts of hit points when you hit them. You saw I can take about 3 hits, but if a current were to pull me through a bunch, yeah, so there I go. I died. So that's the first death. And we can see, because it's the first death and because I'm on the hardcore league, I did not go to the Land of Lost Souls. This is exactly what happened in Season 3. You die, and then you die normally. If I were to die again, then I would go to the Land of Lost Souls. So that's one of the reasons why the extra lives were so popular. They really allowed you to make mistakes, and you can see that clearly, for my character, doing this swim is a mistake. I don't have evasion. I have terrible PRR. I don't have any ability to blood tribute fake hit points. The only fake hit point I get is when I cast a spell, and you cannot cast spells underwater. So this particular build, I have to say that I cannot do this quest. This is one of those quests, and I'm going to leave this in the video. I'm going to post this so you guys can see that. You have to plan ahead for this particular swim. It's the bat socket, and it's very, very difficult. So there's nothing I can do. I could try doing it again, but I mean, I was being as careful as I could, and I'll just probably die. So what I would do if this were a live event, I would look for a group with a guy in the group or a woman who could do the swim. That for one of the first questions I'd ask when I joined the group. Do we have somebody who can do the swim? Because that's this whole quest. After that, this quest is easy. You saw the other parts are easy. So yeah, we're just going to exit this. This is why these quests are so ridiculous. Not a lot of people do these quests unless they're hunting for gear or, it's the hardcore league. I don't know of anybody who likes doing these on the home server. Especially now with Feywild gear, I don't think anybody would really care about that gear now. Just going to refresh my buffs and repair. And we will try the other 12 quests so you can see it. For that one, though, there is a ton of fighting, so I will pick up a buddy, a digital buddy, so I can have at least some sort. Now, I could have, maybe tried taking a digital buddy underwater with me. However, they suffer from the same problem you do. They can't cast underwater, so... the only way to do that swim is a rogue or a barbarian or somebody who has a high PRR could probably handle it too. Somebody who has really good self-healing also. But, they have to have something like lay hands, so maybe like a paladin could do it. So we'll grab Fade in. Okay, so this quest is broken up into lots of optionals. We can skip a lot of those. The first order of business, though, is for us to get to the prison. And so we do that by talking to Doris. Doris is still normal Doris now. She's not the Titan yet. She will give us a wand and tell us that we need to use it in order to get in. It will allow us to locate the dimensional anchors that we're looking for, and will also give us the ability to make these little platforms that we can jump on. So there. See how it says no dimensional anchor found? If there was an anchor nearby, it would show us. And you just want to basically keep throwing these platforms out. And then once you have them, just keep bouncing on them. And make your way over to the door. Now, if you were going to use the roof, you would do this all the way up to the roof. But if you're going in the front door is right there where all those guards are. Okay, so now there's a lot of mobs here, which is why I have my digital buddies. You can see they're doing a lot of damage to me. And I need to get my defenses on, get myself healed. Okay, I'm going to get more, so now I can move a little bit better. So this is the front door. This method, we basically need to open this door. And how we do that is we go around this entire complex and pull all the levers, and those levers will open these runes. The other way to do it, which is what I was saying, is you do the dimensional anchor wand, and then you fly all the way up to the roof. There's another exit entrance on the roof, but there's a puzzle you need to do up there in order to get through it, and there's a bunch of mobs you have to kill. Like I said, when you join a group to do this, you want to know which way they're going to do it, because if you're going to the roof, you don't have to kill all this stuff around the outside. And vice versa. If you're going to do the front door, you don't have to go to the roof and kill anything. But the group leader will let you know. For the sake of this video, I am going to do the front door. It takes a little bit longer, but I mean, it's, you know, relatively straightforward and easy. These monsters hit really hard, though. So, you know, you have to be on your guard. They dispel you and shoot fire at you. These are nasty quests. Way beyond the level for difficulty. Compared to all the other level 6 quests. You know, these quests are like raid difficulty. Which is why not a lot of people do them, and it's fantastic to run them on the Hardcore League with a group. So you see how much damage that champion did to me? Like, that is just insane. Definitely worth more than 11 remnants to take that much damage. So I have my digital buddies pinned in case I need them, but the reality is likely I would get insta-killed by some champion and wouldn't even be able to call them. You know, I don't want to run around with them because I don't think that they would add that much help, but you see, he just dispelled all of my buffs. I will re-add them. And the dimensional anchor means that we cannot use dimension door. We are stuck. I think I forgot to pull that lever over there. I'm going to check it. Got distracted by the fire elemental dispelling everything. So I got that one. Did I get this one? No. Okay, so we've got that, we've got that. I mean, I like these quests as far as D&D quests go. They're fun, they're creative, they're interesting, but it's just the difficulty level is just not scaled properly. Like, I do like that quest with the swim, but that swim is so deadly. You know, I mean, what can I do? I did my best to go slow and to stay at... Nope. See that champion officer there? Who knows how hard this thing hits. I don't want to get anywhere near that. Any champion is going to terrify me. He hit me with a slow. But we're almost done. Just have to clear out this. Stay away from these sentries because they're the ones that dispel you. Yep, see, he just did it again. Okay. Now the door's open. And you walk in and it's a disaster. There's a ton of these sentries and we're just going to do our best. Probably should call my digital buddies here just so they can help me out. So I'm not taking any unnecessary risks. I mean, you know, like I said, they represent the fact that I would probably be doing these with a group. And put them on attack. I would not be doing these quests alone. So. Which I don't recommend, you know, on the Hardcore League for you to do a lot of soloing. You can obviously do whatever you want, but there's safety in numbers, and people usually know how to do these quests in ways that might surprise you. I mean, I'm showing you one way to do this quest, but there are many ways to do this quest. Okay, we need to kill this. Yeah, Dolores. She, of course, is a champion. She's gonna kill my muse. No, she didn't. Okay, there's a shrine. There's a chest. Wonder if I can find these secret doors. Oh, I can. That's interesting. My search is pretty terrible. So you can grab the keys, run around with the keys, if you really wanted to. Have the ability to open all the doors, but we're not going to open a lot of those doors. Just want to see if I can find all of them. Yeah, I guess they coded it so that anybody can find these. It does help having some iron keys, though, that way, unless you have knock or you can pick the locks. So I will pick up these keys just to have them in case I want to open some doors. It's another secret door. Now the chef area can be challenging if there's champions in there. Oh, there is a champion. And there is a very likely scenario here where he could just incinerate me. I have to be very careful around him. Luckily, I got a soul of ice, and he's a fire creature. If he had been like a soul of fire, he probably would have one-shot me. You have to be really careful of those. So the Feywild Muse took one for the team, and he died. So what we want to do in this area, once these guys are all cleared out, is start looking for the dimensional anchor. And so how we do that is we'll just cast one of our spells, and you can see it's way too far, the anchor. So it's nearby, but it's still far. So we're going to continue looking. We'll probably go down that secret door there, but I want to give another couple of throws of the wand to see if there's a dimensional anchor here. See, now it says it's too far. It means maybe we're getting closer this way. I'll do it again. It says it's far. So we are getting closer. So maybe there's one. This way over here. That fire elemental disintegrated my buffs again. Mobs that dispel your buffs are very annoying. We'll give another throw of the thing, see what this reads now. Watch out for that. Soul of Cruelty. Alright, so see, the anchor is close. So there's one near here. We need to find it. Now, in here, there's a fight that we don't need to do, but I don't know if this is one of the locations where the anchor can be, so I'm going to look. You don't need to fight this disciplinarian if the anchor is not near her. She's a caster. one of the annoying things about having those anchors around as you're looking for, if you accidentally step on one, it will shoot you up into the air. Oh, so there's the anchor. So that was a good thing. So what you need to do is break it. There's 2 of them. So we're still looking for 1 more. I'm going to put protection from evil on myself just... so if we open this door, that's the prison, and we will have to fight all of these turnkeys, the prison guards. They each drop a key, and then we can take the keys and open the cells and let the prisoners out, and the prisoners will meet us on the ship, and they will help us fight the last boss based on our allure skills, if we can convince them to help us either with bluffing them or diplomacy. Some of them are easy, some of them are hard. You don't need to go in and get any of them except for the very important prisoner, which I believe is down the bottom. We'll see. We'll see. It's only an optional to get the prisoners out of the cells. We certainly don't need them. And actually, some of them can make the last fight even harder, so we're going to ignore the cells right now and just do our best to clear this area out. We're headed down, basically. And the reason is that once I'm down here, I am going to throw and see if I can find an anchor. So pick up all this junk just in case I need it, and here we'll check and see if there's an anchor nearby. So we're not even close to an anchor here. So I accidentally hit one of the anchors that I put down as I was running by. Very annoying. Now this is a tough fight, this doctor. Especially with the unspoken regrets and the fire elementals that are in there. But you can see how far that cone goes. I was able to hit him when I was very far. There's a trap in here. There's more regrets. Let's see if there's an anchor nearby. No anchor at all, so let's pull this lever. There's a trap, but it doesn't hit for that much. If you have a trapper, you can disable that trap before you pull the lever like I did, but it doesn't hit for that much on Elite. And what that does is open a way downstairs. We just have to fight our way downstairs. There's the bailiff. He will disappear. Ogre Magi do that disappearing act. Switch to single target for him. Okay. Look for the anchor. Nope, not even close. No anchor again. having haste would be very helpful. So how you open these doors, you notice that there is a lever up there, and so you can throw out an anchor, jump on it if you... They dispelled my jump. And then you fly up and you touch it and the door opens. And then this is where you find the very important prisoner. But what we will do is clear out the lava. They just dispelled me, so I need to re-up my resists. It's very annoying that they can do that. Okay, so we've got this area clear, and I will throw out an anchor. Oh, the anchor's down here. I just got a far message. I believe it's one of these side doors where the VIP is. This is gonna test my knowledge because I don't do this quest that often. I thought that she's in here, but it's one of these doors down in this lava, I'm pretty sure. With any luck, the anchor is in one of these doors as well. So we just open that one. Somebody else watching this is like, oh, I know exactly where they are. Oh, it's close. Hopefully it's in here. Actually, the anchor's probably on the opposite side. So it looks like my muse died in the lava. Not a surprise. I actually am just going to pin them. It's one of the reasons I don't like them following me around. They're nice to have as help, but hirelings in this game are so dumb. Okay, you two are staying right here. So the very important prisoner I am blanking out on. Could have swore it was one of these doors down here. Where is this? Okay. No, she's just a normal. She is not the VIP. So the dimensional anchor is on the inside of this right here, but I still need to find the VIP. Should be right in here. I still don't have the key. Yeah, very close. So it's on the opposite side of that door. So we'll go back up and open the rest of those cells and see if I can find the key in the VIP person. do so. You can see how annoying this quest is. I mean, this is another reason why a lot of people don't do these quests, is because I don't mean to keep stepping on these things, but it's hard to avoid them. Oh, we found Fred. Fred is good. Fred will help you. Now, I usually leave that puzzle alone. Okay, so we found the VIP. It's Talbron. It gives us the golden key that we need. And now that we have that, we can go here, back down, and open this. I'm going to make sure that I have defensives on, because this is a fight. With the warden. You can see the graphical weirdness of that area there. He's immune to my fire. Behind me there's mobs too. Regrets. Now, there's two named chests in here. There's the dimensional anchor, so we'll destroy that. You can take that dimension door to the ship to the last fight where you have a chance to get the named chest, or you can also try for the chest that's here. There is a lever at the bottom of this, and if you have really good fire resist, you can just jump in and swim and hit this lever. However, you can also throw, and you see my hirelings see the monsters behind the door, because there's a secret door here. This is the lever that opens it right there. And it just takes a little practice in order to hit it. Of course, it also helps if these goofy hirelings aren't in the way. So just for giggles, I want to see how my resists keep me alive. I have 8 minutes of fire, and I just put the blue fire shield on me. Oh yeah, I can just swim in here and hit it. if you can't hit it yourself. And what that'll do is open this door. And there are monsters in here. Looks like they, for some reason, aren't there anymore. So this is a named chest. And this quest drops armor. I, of course, didn't get anything. But this would be a chest that you could loot armor out of if you wanted to do the reroll on it. I don't reroll. I think it's ridiculous, but you could. So now we go to the end. And on the ship, we will see the people that we rescued. I'll use the shrine. I'll call my buddies. You can talk to the people that you rescued and see where their loyalties lie. Some of them, if you diplo them or bluff them, will help you. Some of them are very difficult to. So it says, speak to Doris. So we spoke to Doris. Captain is unaware of a mutiny. We need to recruit as many as we can to stay loyal. So speak with the captain about the mutiny. The captain is over here. And now we have to basically speak that this is a hard diplomacy. My diplo is terrible, but this is why I say allure skills are really good to take. My diplo is a 13, so likely that means we're going to have to fight her, and that's why we don't want to free some of the people. I didn't mean to free this one. I thought that she might have been where the VIP was, but I failed. Fred should join us because Fred is typically friendly. Very easy diplomacy. We succeeded, so Fred's on our side. This hag, I think she's an easy bluff. I have pretty decent bluff. 21, not perfect, but I succeeded. And that's about it. The rest of these orcs will not. So we have to talk to Rosie, start the rebellion. I'll put my buddies on aggressive, and then we do the fight. So Fred disappeared, but we still have to watch out for the Medusa that we accidentally freed up here. She could turn us to stone. Okay, we got her. She didn't have a lot of hit points. Alright, so that's that. We completed it. We didn't do any of the optionals, but we did get the second chest and another chance at getting the armor, and I got nothing again. You can see that something in DDO is not right. Like, I've run a lot of quests where they have named loot, and I just haven't gotten anything. So, you know, I think running a quest on Elite, especially this difficult, and getting nothing, makes it much less likely that I would run this quest, considering how difficult it is in the future. And I had 2 chests for zip. I don't know, but that's how I like to do this quest. There's many optionals that we skipped. We found a secret door that drops down a shaft. We didn't do that area. Sometimes the dimensional anchor can be down there. That's why I opened it, but you can do the roof and come down and do it that way. Okay, so of all of these, this is the only one that I cannot do. And of the level 6 quests, there's a few others that I just cannot do. One of them is the Chronoscope. Chronoscope is a raid, and even though I could probably try to do it by myself, you know, it's not worth the effort just to do it, because like I said, I'm not going for 5k. They're shutting the server down. This character is just for this video series to demonstrate points. I'm glad that we died during that swim, so you can see how difficult that swim is, and plan ahead. So it's not you that dies during an actual hardcore league. You can learn from what I did. I did a lot of other quests that people would consider hard. This is a new quest, Promise of Fire. I have not done that. But likely we're just going to call it a level 6. I can't, so I won't do Another Man's Treasure. Bloody Crypt I could go do, but that's long. And like I said, since they're closing the server down, and I'm not going for 5k on this tune anyway, likely I will save any videos I make about the Bloody Crypt for an actual live event, because I do plan to make videos during Hardcore League Season 4 of all the quests that I do. This series here is just a how-to. We talk about certain very important concepts, and then you guys get to see, as I run through the quests, what is easy and what is hard. What is sort of... Oh, this has 2 slots, so I'll save that. They fixed it, so now you can actually see the slot. These goggles have a yellow slot, so I'll save those. And if this were a live event, you could use those slotted items to craft, or you could sell them. So I think what we'll do is take level 11, lucky 11, and talk about the skills that I think are essential for the Hardcore League if you can fit them onto your build. Not a lot of builds have a lot of skill points. Finally get displacement. And there we go. So the essential skills. We've already talked about many of these as we've gone through, but the first I would say are the allure skills. Bluff, diplomacy, and intimidate. You want to pick one of those. If you can fit it onto your build, if you have the build points, the allure skills can be very helpful. They are charisma-based skills, so, you know, if you're on a character that has no charisma or a negative charisma, it's going to be difficult for you to get allure skills, and I may even recommend against it. You want to follow your build, but if you can, if you have a 10 or better charisma, say, or if you are a charisma-based character, like a warlock or a sorcerer, for example, taking an allure skill is very, very helpful. It doesn't matter which. If you're inquisitive at all, though, you want diplomacy. Diplomacy is tied into the way the inquisitive tree works. It's constantly triggering diplomacy, so you want diplomacy if you're on an inquisitive, but otherwise, you know, normally tanky characters or melee would take intimidate. Rogue characters benefit from bluff because it will, you know, trick a monster to turn his back, and then you can get a sneak attack in. And diplomacy, if you just do a diplomacy on a monster, there's a chance that it could pick another target. Not extremely helpful, but sometimes helpful. It works the best on the Inquisitive, like I've said. Probably, I think, hands down, the most important skill for the hardcore league that there's a few of them, if you can fit them in, but I think jump is probably at the top of the list. For every class, you need to have jump. You need to have a good over 20. You want, whether you get there through potions or points or however magic, have a buddy that can cast it on you. Jump is just too helpful to not have. It will save you. It will make quests easier. Anybody who's played DDO for any bit of time knows that jump is just extremely useful to have. So that is something that I think should be prioritized if you can fit it. The next, and this is going to be dependent on your build, but it is having a good search. There are a lot of people who would say, well, spot is better, but I disagree. I think search is more important because it will allow you to find secret doors that will help you to navigate quests. Sometimes secret doors open up areas that allow you to bypass very vexing or troubling areas in quests. So having any bit of search helps. Now, at some point when you play on the hardcore league, if you don't have a lot of skill points, your search will become useless just because the secret doors will be manufactured in such a way that they require a high DC in order to find them. But if you have the ability, like if you're on a wizard and you have a lot of skill points, for example, definitely throw them into search, because you probably will be able to find secret doors all the way up to level 18 or 19 into those level 20 quests if you're going to 5k. Spot is also very useful. Spot is wisdom based, however. Not a lot of characters use wisdom. I recommend, if you want a high spot, to look for a spot item and perhaps wear it as you're walking around. But keep in mind that spot will allow you to sense hidden doors, traps, objects, stealthed enemies. But at some point on the hardcore league, your spot is going to be too low to see the traps. I mean, and only rogues can see certain traps. So I don't recommend investing a lot unless you are a wisdom-based character. If you're a cleric, for example, or maybe if you were a paladin and you had extra points. But points are hard to come by. So I usually would not recommend throwing them into spot. But everybody has a different opinion about this for the hardcore league. I favor search over spot. The other thing, too, that you can benefit from is search. If you have a high enough search, you can find the secret door. Spot really doesn't give you the ability to utilize anything. You could watch a walkthrough for a quest and learn where the traps are, let's say on YouTube or Twitch, right? And that functions as sort of an extra spot outside the game. Like, you will know where the traps are. So that's my argument against having spot. Unless you're brand new to it and at the low level content you want the little trap warning. But it doesn't tell you exactly where the trap is. All it tells you is that there is something present. And it doesn't allow you to disable it. Only rogues and artificers can disable traps. So I would put points in search over spot. Another one that is super life-saving, fantastic, useful, if you can afford to take it, is Use Magic Device. Use Magic Device is so powerful that every character can benefit from it. The problem is it's an expensive buy. Normally, if you're on a character that does not have use magic device granted to it, it's going to cost you 2 skill points to get 1 in use magic device, and you will be capped at 11 and 11.5 at level 20. But there are items you can find. Your charisma augments it. Any persuasion items that you find and use augment it. And what it allows you to do is to use magic devices that you could not normally use. So, for example, you could use wands that you normally could not use. So if you're on a fighter, for example, you could use a shield wand if you have some UMD. So it's always great if you have the skill points to take UMD, even if it's low, because that low amount will allow you to at least have a percentage roll, and even 5%. Yeah, that's 1 out of 20, but you still could put shield on yourself with a shield, or you still could cast invisibility off a scroll or a wand, or you could cast a heal wand. You could have access to things you normally couldn't, and it allows you to broaden your bag of tricks as a character, especially if you're on a character like a paladin with a high charisma. UMD is something that I always try to take on every character that I make. I highly recommend it. There are some skills, obviously, that will be necessary for your build. Spellcraft is one. If you are a caster who is doing damage of acid, cold, electric, fire, force, or light, you want spellcraft. You cannot skip it because that is your spell power. If you are on a character that's doing sonic damage, you need to take perform, because perform will increase your sonic spell power. So if you are on a character like a bard and you want to do sonic blast or sound burst, perform. You also need to have perform on a bard just to have access to certain musical abilities. So if you're on a bard, don't skip perform. You need to have it. There are other skills too. If you're a rogue, you want to take disable device and probably open lock. I mean, it's debatable whether or not, because open lock will open chests, locked chests, and locked doors that other things you normally won't, unless you had a wizard that could knock the door or the chest, for example. But it just will make your life easier. So if you're on a rogue or an artificer, some class that has the ability to disable traps and open locks, it's always good to put points in them and put as many points as you can into disable device and search. If you're a trapper, those are the 2 go-to skills for trappers: disable device and search. You don't want to skimp on those 2. You could skimp on open lock, you can skimp on spot, but do not skimp on search and disable device if you are on an artificer or a rogue trapping. That I can't overstate that enough. And if I had to pick the most important skill for you on a trapper, if you are making a trapper, is search. Search trumps disable device, because if you cannot find it, you can't have a chance to open it. There will be buddies, if you're not running solo, who could give you prayer and give you good hope and give you heroism or greater heroism to up your score if you slacked off a little on disable device. But your search, if you can't hit that DC, and some of the DCs for finding traps are very hard in the higher level content in heroics, you just will not be able to see the trap, and you won't have a chance to get the box and blow it up. If you don't put enough in disable device, it'll blow up, is what I mean. So but you won't even have a chance to do that. Obviously you don't want to blow the boxes up, but another very important skill is concentration. Concentration will keep you from being interrupted. So if you are a spellcaster and You can avoid being interrupted on a spellcaster if you take Quicken, but you could skip Quicken and take Concentrate. Concentrate works very well. Concentrate, though, is also useful for classes that UMD devices, let's say wands or scrolls, because it will keep you from being interrupted while you're using a wand or reading off a scroll. So if you don't want to be interrupted by monsters and you have the skill points, concentration is always a good investment. Depending on the type of class you are, if you are a tank or a melee, taking balance is very helpful. Balance will not prevent you from being knocked down, but it does help you to stand up quicker. So once you're knocked down, the game will look at your balance skill and it will help you to stand up quicker. Personally, this is my opinion. I cannot stand the way DDO has balance implemented. I do not think it does anything. People out there may disagree with me. I usually don't throw points in balance unless I have an awful lot of skill points. I might throw up to 5, but I have not been convinced by the game mechanics, watching my character get knocked down and stand up, that balance has ever saved me from anything. So I know that there's people out there who disagree and love balance and put it on all their characters. I just don't see it. I think it needs to be re-implemented. I think it should do different things. I think that it should have sort of a immunity to slippery surface effect, where if you have enough balance, you no longer will slip and slide on ice, that you can just balance, that you would not take what they make you make a dexterity check. If your balance is high enough, you should be able to skip that dexterity check to see if you fall down. And other things. There are other effects. If you go into an enemy cloud, for example, if you have a high balance, I think that that should help you to not fall down. But that's not how the game works. Balance right now only checks when you get knocked down to stand up quicker. So, do what you want with that. Very important skill too, if you are on a caster that has positive or negative spell power. So if you are a cleric who's casting heals, or if you are on an undead who is casting the harm, you need to put points in heal. Heal is a wisdom skill, but you need to have it if you are on a healer or an undead. It will give you your spell power, either negative spell power or positive spell power. As a rogue, taking hide and move silent will allow you to sneak more effectively. If you add invisibility to that, it gets even better. But that will be very build specific. I know people who play the stealthing rogues. I know Assassin, Vistani Assassin is popular, but last season I knew somebody who played a Vistani Assassin, and they were extremely squishy, and they could not. They needed help for many quests. So I mean, it's not. I personally wouldn't recommend it. You may play it like a pro, but if you're on that build, you probably want to take hide and move silent. Otherwise, a normal character probably would not take those at all. And you could get all of the benefits from just using invisibility. So I wouldn't worry about that. If you are on a Warforged character, you need to take repair. Repair will boost your repair and rust spell power, necessary for when you cast your reconstruct spells and your repair spells. Otherwise, if you're not on a Warforged, you can skip repair altogether. It doesn't have any effect on any character except for Warforged. There is another skill called Tumble. Tumble, if you have your tumble up high enough, it will allow you to not take damage when you're falling. And that's very helpful on hardcore. However, I would not recommend taking more than 1 point in tumble unless you are on a rogue or a character who is doing some roguish stuff like an assassin or something like that. I always put 1 point in tumble on every character that I make so that I have the ability to tumble. Um, Taking 1 point grants you the ability to tumble and roll backwards and forwards or side to side. That in itself doesn't really do much, but I mean, I do take it. Because otherwise, you don't do the little roll, you just sort of jump back. Um, you don't have to worry about the falling damage because you're taking Featherfall. You know, unless you're on a monk and you don't want to take Featherfall and you're using the monk slow fall, or if you're on a rogue and you just want to blast your tumble up to 30 or whatever, and uh, then you don't have to worry about falling damage at all. Um, I just put 1 point in tumble and then call it a day. Swim. I know a lot of people who love swim. Swim is one of those skills that, yeah, it's nice to have, but it's completely unnecessary. It doesn't matter how fast you swim. There's no in that swim that I failed, having a fast swim ability would not have gotten me through that maze any easier. Likely, it probably would have made it more likely for me to die because I would have hit the spikes faster. So my swim is one that you can skip. People will tell you too that haggle is a very important skill for the hardcore league because it will allow you to sell to vendors and make more money. But the percentage increase in haggle is so low that you need to have your haggle so high. I think the maximum haggle is 140, maybe, somewhere around there. So when you, right in the early game, have 5 haggle, you know, it's not that huge a deal. If you have the extra points, certainly take it. But if you're on a skill-starved character, there are way better options to take than haggle. Haggle is not a skill that I usually put on any of my tunes. It just is not. You can make more money selling stuff on the auction house or trading with other players than, you know, the extra few gold you'll get when your haggle is up. Now, that's not to say it's completely useless, and I know some people who love it and they put haggle on all their characters. Just not how I think. There's other ways I would try to invest my skill points. An allure skill, for example. Concentrate, you know, things that will actually keep me alive. Haggle is something you could put on a bot, like if you made a secondary character that you dump everything into your bank, and then you have a haggle character, you made a haggle bard, for example, that you just take all that gear, then go to the marketplace and sell it all. You know, that's the smartest way to approach haggle. I would not put it on a main character, not on your 5K character, not on your Reaper character. Just make a haggle bot and, you know, sell all your stuff on that character. A couple of skills that I think are pretty useless in DDO. One of them is listen. I know that listen will allow you to see invisible creatures. I mean, you know, that I just don't like the way that listen, move silently, hiding, they're all implemented in DDO in a very sort of wonky system. It harkens back to when the game first launched and you could go invisible and then the monsters would have no idea where you were. You literally were invisible. Well, and then they nerfed that and made it so monsters could actively search for you. They can hear you. They can see you. You know, it doesn't matter if you're invisible and hiding. They'll find you anyway. So, I mean, I'm not sure why. I think they do that to keep the game challenging. But it's annoying because, you know, if you have a hide, move silent, listen, like those roguish skills should really do what they say. So, I mean, I've personally have never invested in listen, and I don't know if I'm missing out on anything. It does say that certain quests will allow you to find traps based on your listen skill. But, you know, I mean, for how many quests have traps like that, is it worth investing skill points? Very essential skill points where you could be putting them into things like heal, search, spellcraft, concentration, jump, very important skills. An allure skill, bluff, or something. Those are the ones that I would prioritize. Listen gets my least useful award next to swim. Nice, but big deal. Balance is another one I've already talked about. Okay, big deal. I get up a little quicker, a fraction of a second quicker, but it doesn't do anything else. It's just poorly implemented. So hopefully, going forward, SSG maybe tries to incorporate more of the 5e Dungeons and Dragons rules and the way that they do skills and abilities in that version of the rule set. Right now, we are based on the 3.5 rules, which is great, but the 5e rules add a lot of very interesting things that would be nice to see. So who knows? Perhaps we'll get more skills in the future. Maybe we'll get changes. Because what I'm talking about specifically is there are a lot of feats that I consider completely useless in DDO. For example, Acrobat. Acrobat gives you an extra +2 to your jump and +2 to your tumble skills. Well, that is completely a waste of a feat. There are literally like a dozen other feats that would help your build, and acrobatic would never. And +2 is so low. I mean, if it were +10 tumble and +10 jump, maybe I could see taking a feat. Alertness, +2 to your listen and spot. +2 is so low. Again, I could see if it were +10, yeah, okay, maybe that feat would be worth it. Athletic, +2 to balance and +2 swim. +2 balance. +2 swim. I need +20 swim, +20 balance. Like, then that I would take that feat. That might be useful to me, but +2, it's just these feats need to be rethought for the homebrew version of DDO that we have. When the game launched out of the box, 3.5, Eberron was new, the game was new, all of the balancing was based on what they thought was accurate for 3.5 being in a video game. And then we've had 14 years more and power creep. So now we all know we all know that +2 is nothing. It's nothing. It's in the realm of DDO dice rolls and percentages. +2 is nada. So, even the completionist that gives +2 to all skills, people take that and they get all excited about it. To me, it's not enough. +2. It needs to be +4 for all that work that you do. I mean, come on, that's, and I could go down the list here. Bullheaded, +2 to your intimidate checks. You're going to take a feat to get +2 intimidate? That should be +20. Coin Lord finishing school, +2 to diplomacy and intimidate. Again, if you go to a finishing school, that implies that you become an expert in the field. +10 diplomacy, +10 intimidate. Combat casting is another one that, if you played DDO, if you play Dungeons and Dragons, combat casting is a very useful feat. But in DDO, concentration and quicken already take care of that. Concentration was recently updated a year or so ago, so now it's fantastic. You don't need to take combat casting. Combat casting needs to have something in it that allows you to, let's say, not need to jump cast, like that would allow you to move your full rate on the ground and still cast. Because right now the only way you can do that is jump casting. If they made combat casting so it would do that, then it would be worth it. We have another one here, discipline, +2 concentration. Useless. This stuff is all useless. Discipline needs to be made plus 10. And, you know, I can go down the line. They did say they want to redo the dragon marks because the dragon marks are just blah. You know, lesser dragon mark of finding, plus 2 to search. That's a feat. Plus 2 to your search. What a waste of a feat. I don't know anyone who uses the dragon marks unless they are taking the one for crafting, or unless they're taking the one that gives them access to Dimension Door. Beyond that, I mean, I don't know. Gnomish proficiency, plus 2 to haggle. Plus 2. Dwarven stone cutting, plus 2 to search. That should be plus 10. They're dwarves. Who's better at finding stuff underground than dwarves? Should not be plus 2. And this goes on. There's another one. Stealthy. Plus 2 to hide and move silent. I mean, that's a feat. Plus 2. No. That should be plus 10 to hide and move silent. If you take the stealthy feat, you know, that's a whole feat. So DDO needs some work in that area. So for the hardcore league specifically, I would stay away from all those sorts of feats that grant you extra points. Nimble fingers, negotiator, all that stuff is bad. I mean, it's just not. I would not take a dragon mark. I would not. You know, you don't want to take keen ears as a halfling, for example, to get plus 2 to your listen. Who cares? That's not going to help you stay alive. You know, we went over the best. You know, you want jump, you want use magic device, you want an allure skill, you want search if you can fit it in. You know, beyond that, you're going to look at your build. You know, if you're a trapper, search, disable device. If you are a healer, heal. If you're undead, heal. You know, if you're going to be doing any sort of casting on wands, scrolls, potions, take some concentration. You know, and if you had to just, if you didn't want to think about anything and you just want to throw points in something, always go to jump. Jump is just too useful to not have. You know, so that's that for the DDO skills. And so we'll wrap up the video for today. We did a lot. Like I said, this series is winding down. I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I may do a couple more quests between now, Christmas, New Year's, make a few updates, post a few more videos. I may take a look at the quest list on Platinum now that we're level 11 and see if there's any quests that at level 7 that might make an interesting video. Temple of Elemental Evil Part 1, Tear of Takan is always a good one. The Pit is always a good one. Scoundrel's Run. There's a couple of really good quests that we could do. Some of them I've done. Some of them are just very easy that, you know, we probably don't need to make a video about. But some people might not know why I would consider them easy. So I perhaps will make a video. I'll have to think about which one or which ones would be the most interesting and go from there. I hope you guys are all staying healthy and safe, and that you get to spend time with people that you love. If it's virtual, that's fine. You know, hopefully 2020 ends and with a season of joy for you, and this year that's been awful for everybody goes away. But we have to do our best. Until then, we're not out of the woods yet with this upside down world. But, you know, keep the faith. It is the entire world. So, anyway, I'll see you guys next time, and take care.
join us for more. I plan to do lore videos for each quest in DDO, as well as the raids. Plus, I will be releasing more Session 0 videos for DDO on topics such as player character races, the religions of Eberron, the Last War, and the Mournlands, the Dragon Marks, the Dragon Marked houses, and much, much more. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Comment down below. I like interacting with other players. My main tune in DDO is named Mary. I am on Sarlona. I also have a guild on the Hardcore League. My guild is Death Smile. Please say hi if you're on either of those servers. Subscribe to see more Adventure AI content about DDO, Dungeons & Dragons Online, and gaming in general. I also play Star Wars The Old Republic. You can join us at Adventure AI on Discord. Check us out on Twitch. Check us out on Twitter. You can go to our Patreon and become a patron of the channel, where you would get access to all of the scripts, the images, the music, the videos, as well as behind the scenes, and the ability to request topics for me to make future videos. Thanks very much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope your adventures go well.